Okay. Hey Katie, thanks for meeting with me today. I know your schedule has been pretty tight since you're traveling, but I really do appreciate you making some time for me.
Thanks, no problem. Since I'm in town, why not?
Well, I really do appreciate it. So how were your travels then? Were there any interstates closed from Des Moines to Iowa?
It wasn't too bad of a drive. I took I-80 all the way here, so there was a lot of construction from those floods, though, so it was more of a 3.5 hour drive compared to the 3 hour drive. So.
Well, I'm glad you didn't have to deal with any interstates closed. I recently tried to go to Missouri. We usually take I-29. Since it's closed, our 5.5 hour drive turned into a 7.5 hour drive.
Yeah, that is no fun. I'm just glad, our land didn't get any repercussions from those floods.
Yeah, seriously, I did hear that Des Moines got hit pretty hard, didn't they?
It is the biggest flooding in Des Moines history, so.
That's so scary. I'm just glad to hear that you're okay and all is well with you.
I know, and most farms and a lot of them lost everything in the floods, crop, cattle, equipment. I just couldn't even picture it.
I still can't believe that. It's so sad to think of so many people losing everything. But speaking of farms, how are things going for you?
It's going. My dad has always dealt with the cattle, and now he's retiring because you just get to a certain age where you just can't handle the physical labor and demand of farming anymore. So.
Well, that is a big decision. I mean, he's been in the farming business for so long. How are things going to change with you then?
Well, I live about 100 miles away from my dad's cattle farm, and so I will go out and help him most weekends and a few days each week. I know I won't be able to take over for him, so we've been thinking about keeping a few and basically just kind of working our way out of the cattle business.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it'll allow you to have more time and focus during the planting and harvest season, but still give you something to do during the winter months.
Yeah, and it is a big decision, but I just can't do it all,
Yeah.
And if we keep a few beef cows and a couple of dairy cows, I should be able to at least handle that.
There you go, and if not, you can always sell them like the others.
So true, very true.
Well, what are you going to do with all of your equipment that you're not going to be using then?
Well, I'm not quite sure yet. We have about 3 to 4 livestock trailers we won't need, a few gates we won't need, 2 to 3 feeders, and some handling equipment we will also have to get rid of.
So you've got quite a lot that you need to get rid of. But, Sandhills has options for you. If you're wanting to get the higher price and do it through retail, we have Tractor House available for you. And if you're just kind of wanting to get rid of your equipment right away and have a guaranteed sale, we have auction time for you.
I've actually bought some tractors off Tractor House and
nice.
a combine on auction time. So I really love the idea of these 2 websites, but I've never listed anything on Tractor House before though. So can you just tell me how it works?
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm glad to hear that you liked our websites enough to want to list on them. But really, you kind of know how it works since you're familiar with it. We have those auction listings that are first, then it goes the featured listings, and then the general listings on our website. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that. So what is the difference between the featured and the general?
Yeah, so our featured listings always have the advantage of being ahead of the general listings on the website, as well as having the support of our print magazines, which is a really big key to have. We see that they generate a lot more leads and a lot more exposure with having the magazine behind you, which leads you to a few different kind of audiences, the ones that only want to look online and the ones that believe in the print so much. So you really do have a larger audience when you're getting in the print. And we have seen, since our magazines are for free, that the people that are picking up the magazines, they want to pick them up. They're usually those serious buyers too.
Yeah, no, I definitely see what you're saying. Okay, how do you pick what states you want, or is it that nationwide too?
Yeah, so online, all of our listings are nationwide. Anyone that goes on there can see them, including the general listings. But for our magazines, Tractor House actually has 8 different regions. Really what the regions are, it's just the state split up. So we have the northeastern region, the northern region, the north central region, the central region, the western region, the southeastern, and the south central. So for you, your region is actually the Midwest, since you're from Iowa. Mm-hmm. So you get Iowa and Missouri in there. But you don't have to list in your home region if you don't want to. Do you think there's any states that your equipment would sell best in?
Well, you can really sell livestock equipment anywhere. Every state has dairy farms and beef farms, so I think that every state would be fair game for me then. But I don't know if someone who is farther than 3 hours away would really want to come pick up the equipment.
And I know a lot of people do have that fear, but if someone wants your machine, they'll figure out a way how to get it. I actually just had a customer a few weeks ago. He was from Florida. He only wanted to list in his home region for the exact same reason. We ran for 2 months in just that one region. No calls, nothing. He had a lot of exposure, but nobody was picking up the phone and giving him a call. And I stressed to him a lot, like, we need to get out and get in more regions, because the more regions you get, the more exposure that you have. Finally, he caved in after the second month of getting no calls, and within 2 weeks, he got a phone call from a guy in Pennsylvania. And the guy in Pennsylvania didn't have internet. He saw it in the magazine, which is just another example of showing you how getting in multiple regions, like, he would have never gotten that customer if he wouldn't have put it in that other region. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, that the guy in Pennsylvania actually paid for all the shipping to go there. So that is just another topic of discussion to bring up with your customers if they're wanting to buy your equipment. But for you, I really think that the nationwide exposure would be best for you, just to get the maximum exposure.
Yeah, and I guess that does make sense.
Yeah, and nationwide is a great option to have. So how fast are you looking to sell your equipment?
I do really need to get rid of the livestock equipment since we just won't be using it. Mm-hmm. And I just don't want it to sit at my father's house just depreciating. Exactly. I think the sooner we can get it sold, the better, while it's still newer.
Exactly. That's why I would recommend the nationwide exposure to you, especially since springtime is a great time to get your equipment sold. People are actively looking for new equipment for the next season, and people are actively selling their equipment. You don't really want to wait. You don't want to miss that since the market is on fire right now, you don't really want to miss that, because once springtime rolls around, people already have their equipment. They're not looking anymore. So that's just when they're starting to focus on the planting and harvest season.
Yeah, you're right. How much is nationwide though?
Yeah, so for our regions, every region does run $200 per month. So that would you'd be looking at around $1,600 a month. But that is only for one photo listing. And I know you said you had a few pieces of equipment you're looking to sell, somewhere around like 10 to 12 pieces, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somewhere around there. Probably closer to 12, I would say.
Okay, well, we do have display ads available for you, and there is one that's called our half page, and that does fit up to 12 pieces. So you can put your name on there, your farm name, your logo, a little description of all the pieces that you're looking to sell, really anything you want to put on there. And it's really nice because you have all of your pieces in one spot in a nice little display ad.
Yeah, okay, so that might be a little bit better than $1,600 12 times.
Yeah.
So how much does that run nationwide?
Yeah, so for a nationwide half page, you're looking at about $4,000 a month, $3,000, $960 is really what it is.
Okay,
what are you thinking about?
I don't know. That is kind of just a lot of money still, just especially for 1 month and how old my dad is.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, you will be nationwide in our magazine, nationwide on our website as a featured listing, and you will be featured in every single magazine that we send out to every single state. So anyone can see your equipment.
You do have a point there.
And we do have a tool called Fleet Evaluator. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I actually haven't.
Okay, so it's essentially just like Kelley Blue Book, but it is for your machines. We have data scientists that go and take after-sale data from our websites, from our competitors' websites, from Auction Time, and from other auction websites. And they get all the after-sale data, and they give you a market value of what your equipment's going to cost, or what your equipment will give you.
Yeah.
So it does give you a 99% accurate rate, which is really, really good, and it's really nice to be able to see what your equipment is worth before you put it up for sale, because you don't want to waste a month of advertising and realize I'm priced $5,000 over, that's why no one's calling me, or I'm priced $15,000 below, that's why no one's calling me.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to be able to get that market value and what your machine is worth rather than waiting. And the nice thing about the display ad is you get all that for free. It's usually $19 per piece of equipment, but with the display ad, they put that little feature in there.
Wow, that is a nice deal to have. So, what is the typical time frame it takes to sell equipment?
Yeah, so we typically see that it takes between 1 to 3 months to sell a piece, but usually that is for the photo listings. We see that for the display ads, it takes a little bit longer because you've got more pieces of equipment on there, usually around the 3 to 5 month mark. But getting that fleet evaluator, we do see that customers that use it, it's proven that they can sell their machines twice as fast. So we're looking at cutting that down to 1.5 to 2.5 months.
Okay, well, what the hell? Let's just do it. I don't want to keep the equipment for long, and I just honestly need to do it.
Awesome. Well, I promise that you won't regret this, Katie. We did just go to print yesterday, though. So we print every single Friday. So we can get you in next week's edition. But I can make a book ad proof for you and get that sent on over to you. And just let me know if everything looks good on it.
Yes, perfect. Okay, and then I can send you some of the pictures when I get back into town on Friday morning.
Sounds good. Since this will be your first time listing with us, I will have to get a card on file for you. But I do have my work computer, so if you just want to put that on in there, we can get some info on you.
Of course. Okay, there you go.
All right, perfect. And then I can bill you tonight and start making the ad once I get those pictures.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Is there anything else you need from me, Katie?
I don't really think so. I do really appreciate this. I needed this little push to get things going, and I know my dad did too. So
yeah, well, I'm very excited to help you to get things going, and I'm really excited to work with you. How about I give you a call Friday afternoon, and we can kind of go over more of the details and make sure everything looks good on the display ad.
Works for me.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you again, Katie, and thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Have a good one.